Well, hello and welcome to another video from my garden, following on from the recent theme of me planting some more wildlife friendly planting in and around the front and back gardens. As you may remember from a video a few weeks ago, this is the area just in front of my decked area which comes from the back of the house. I removed a protruding part in another video last summer, one of the first jobs I did here actually, and now I've been left with this area here. I'm not too keen on this brickwork, so what I'm going to be doing, getting this trellis up here. Got 4 panels, and then I'm going to get 4 lovely honeysuckles planted in here. I'm going to explain the benefits of honeysuckle a little bit later on when I actually start planting them, but I've got a few jobs to do first. I'll turn the camera around and then I'll show you the initial steps I'll be taking. So the first job I want to do is get each of these trellis panels painted. I'm going to be staining them the same colour as this decking, mostly because when they're on end I'm going to be seeing probably about a foot of them protruding above here when we look out from the kitchen, and I just want to make sure it all ties in, all looks nice before I secure them to the ground and to the metalwork on the decked area there. So I've got my stands ready set up, going to get those painted in, and then I'm not going to show the video of that, that's a bit boring, but they'll be done. Second job I need to do first is this water pipe. I need to move it. As you may remember from another video last summer when I showed about the water harvesting in this garden, under the decking I've got this 2,500 litre tank. Pipework comes out, runs around there, edge of the garden, and then just before the sleeper fence I built, there's another identical 2,500 litre tank that this feeds. So what I need to do is isolate the tanks. I'm going to get this elbow taken off, cut it back to here so it's against the wall, saves having this pipe bending round. That tidies that up. I can then get some nice soil put in here, get a bit of this area cleared out ready for the next phase, which will be clearing all of this area as I explained in the previous video, get the lawn edge tidied up, and I'm going to get some shade friendly trees and plants in there. So we're going to get a bit more extended sort of woodland glade area as it were here, and that's going to be fantastic. So I'm going to get these painted up. I'm not going to show the process that, like I said, that's a bit boring, but then once they're ready, we'll get the camera back on again. Okay, so the 4 pieces of trellis have been stained both sides, and I've been busy clearing this, as you've seen, filled this in. So my next plan is to cut a couple of pieces of oak sleeper that I've got. I'm going to have one going this way, that's going to act as a retainer for this gravel. I'm going to drill a couple of holes in it, and I'm going to hammer some rebar down just to secure it to the ground, and then I'm going to have a piece going this way, and then I'm going to attach the bottom of the trellis to that, and then wire it to the top of the metalwork on the decking, just to give it away from the wall, because as you can see there's a bit of a distance here, so I need to sort of bridge that gap from top to bottom. Also it gives it a chance for the honeysuckle to sort of grow a little bit further back to the wall rather than just outwards and sideways. So let's get these sleepers cut. So I've decided to go with the 3 trellises instead of the 4. I'm going to use that elsewhere. I just think it looks a bit better in terms of where this tree shade is. The honeysuckle is going to get more light there, and I want to leave access for this rainwater downpipe for a further project down the line, potentially next year. I want to be able to use that as an autofill for main pond I want to build in the main garden, using a bit of a filter trap first. I can utilise that, so basically need access to it. So what I'm going to do now is get some more soil in here, level it up, and then get the plants in. So the 2 honeysuckles have been planted. They've been wired as support to the trellising. The trellises have been wired together. I'll show you that in a second. Now these are the native variety, and these are the Linicera periclamium. So what are the wildlife benefits to growing honeysuckle in your garden? There's absolutely loads. First off, these are really well renowned for having a lovely aromatic smell in the evenings. That's going to be attracting moths, which is equally as important as butterflies. People don't realise it. They just think of moths as things. Even your wardrobe's eating your clothes, but honestly, moths do as much pollination as butterflies. So got to keep that moth population going as well. So obviously, in the daytime, it's going to attract things like the hummingbird hawk moth, which I was lucky to see a few times in my last garden. Really a sight to behold. They look like literally like a little mini hummingbird, because of the tubes that grow as the flowers of these, I should say. Perfect for sort of long-tongued and beaked insects, as it were, getting inside to get that all-important nectar. So moths is the first thing. Obviously butterflies, common whites especially really like these, but it's going to attract a variety of butterflies as well. These will have dark berries in the winter, so that's going to be a food source. So late summer, early autumn, birds like blackbirds, thrushes, robins are going to be feeding on the berries that this produces. Then obviously as this thickens and grows over time, it's going to become all intertwined. It's going to be quite thick. It's going to become a fantastic habitat and a nesting ground for birds as well. So as you can see, so that's all your pollinators, your birds nesting, eating, rummaging around as well. So all sorts of fantastic reasons to grow honeysuckle in your garden, as well as the lovely smell it's going to produce in the evenings for you. So this is the area I've chosen for the remaining 2 honeysuckles. As you can see, it's the other side of my sleeper fence next to the fruit trees, and it's a lovely sunny spot. As you can see, it's mid-morning now and the sun is perfectly beaming down on this area here, which is really going to help them grow. So as before, I'm going to secure this trellis a little bit further this way. I've got a sleeper and a post, and that's just going to bring it away from that fence slightly, just to allow the stems and that to climb around the back of it. I really want this to be quite thick. So again, it's only going to be 1 trellis panel wide. 2 of these honeysuckles, we'll see how they do here. So we've got a Graham Thomas native variety, and we've got this variety from Belgium. So maybe a slightly few different results. I've heard that these may even be slightly more colourful and a bit more fragrant. I don't know. But having them side by side here is going to be a very good mean test for them. So we're going to get this trellis and all the support post work fixed down here, get these dug in, and then yeah, that'll be all my honeysuckles in the garden. So both holes are dug. I'm not going to lie, I've worked up a bit of a sweat digging this in this almost midday sunshine out here. A little tip when you are digging holes for plants, especially larger plants, dig a little bit further than you would do for depth, just to loosen that soil up, just to give these roots a chance to explore. If you're only going down to the depth of the pot, potentially like here, this left hand hole, as you probably saw, I had to bring the reinforcements in, bring the steel bar in. I had a tree root and a lot of stone, bit of concrete I had to break through. So if you're just planting straight onto hard ground, it's not going to give that root much chance to start exploring out. Anyway, I'm going to get a little base layer of soil in here, get the plants in, and then we can start wiring them up like I did at the top end by the decking, and give them a good water. So this is a lovely spot for them here. It's going to get all the early morning and lunchtime sunshine, and then it will be shadier towards the afternoon. They will probably, when they grow above sleeper fence height that I put in last summer, they might get a little bit coming through the overhang here for the purple plum tree. There's a little bit of sort of later sun, but these in general are going to get the majority of their heat during the morning and probably up to early afternoon, which is absolutely fine. So I'm going to be very interested to see, let's say, the difference between the native honeysuckle, which I'm going to be planting on the right hand side, and the one from Belgium, which is going to be on the left hand side. And I'm not too worried if this starts spreading and wants to use this holly and the conifer hedging as a bit of a climbing post and wants to spread amongst it. It's only going to aid to the habitat, so it's all good. And I say, only going to trim this hedging once a year, and obviously if where the honeysuckle is, I'm going to leave that area alone so it has a chance to spread even further. So when the wildlife pond eventually gets built over there, with all these fruit trees and the further ones I'm going to be planting, there's going to be a hell of a lot of blossom and habitat down here. All sorts. There are birds and pollinators and small mammals. Like I say, we get hedgehogs in this garden. I've seen voles, get the foxes. Taking these tags off, make sure I don't miss one. There we go. Happy with the depth of that there. Get some this fresh soil in rather than that drier, stony soil I took out, just to keep a bit more moisture around the base. Give that a good pressing down, either with your fist like that or with your heel, which I do on larger root ball plants. But this should be absolutely fine. So that's the native Graham Thomas one in. Untangle that a little bit in a minute when we get the wiring done, and then get the tags off this Belgian species. There, isn't it? Missed one of the support posts. That's better. Because I noticed the other one on this pot here. Oh, that sun is warm today. That's being said, it's nice to have the old shorts back on after a pretty miserable start to the year this year with building those water features you saw me doing in the January and February rains. It wasn't much fun, but unfortunately I'm not going to earn any money sitting at home. So the best job in the world this time of year, and then it can be one of the worst jobs in the world in the winter months. But as I say, we take the rough with the smooth. Get a little bit more in here from this pack. Make sure it's all around the edges into those hollows that were created when the hole was dug. Holds it nice and firm. I say I've set these a bit of a distance away. I just want to allow, when this does start trailing back, to get some thickness at the back and at the front and the sides. If I plant it too close, you're only really going to get it one way. So by doing this, it just allows a bit more freedom around the base of the plants. Right, back to the garage to get the wire, which I very cleverly forgot to bring down the bottom of the garden. So we'll do that, then we'll get this secured. Okay, back with my wire. The PVC coated green wire, just help it blend in a little bit more. So what I can do with this first one is very carefully bring it around out there just to start it. On its climb, wrap a little bit around here. Not too tight, just enough to guide it, shall we say. Bring one off this way. Again, just tucking the ends of the wire down and safely, so any birds aren't going to poke themselves on it. This one is a little bit more bound together, so I'm just going to give it a little bit of separation, help it on its way. It can spread out where it wants to go. That's better. A little snap in that one there. I'll keep it there, but we'll see how it goes. I'll give it a sort itself out. One over here, I think. And that'll probably do for now until it gets a bit more length on its stems. And then I can work them, try and get as much of this trellis covered as possible. Give as much opportunity for habitat as we can. Yeah, hopefully this one here start trailing off up that way. But for now, I will leave it like that. Okay, so trellis is done, planting is done. They've been watered, as you can see. So I hope this video has made you realise the importance of having some honeysuckle in your garden. It's great for birds, for bees, butterflies, moths, and your nostrils, because it smells absolutely lovely. So till the next one, thanks for watching.